What's going on, vets? Markel here, back with another video. Hopefully you guys are doing well. I was watching those games, man, but they got kind of boring to me, so I decided to go ahead and do this video. And there will be a Saturday roll call tonight. I want to make sure I put that out first before I say anything else. It will be at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Looking forward to seeing you guys then. Okay, so I was asked, can I show what I do versus what you typically see here in the city of Medellin. So for me, I just left flying the drone. It's me, Jason, my driver, and two of my friends, and we're headed to lunch, and we're currently in the Las Palmas area. Now for me, and I've mentioned this before, I'm saying for me, I can't speak for anybody else and their lifestyle, how they lived here or how they live here. But for me, I try to live more on the high end, all right? So the area we're in right now, like I said, is Las Palmas. And I'm gonna show you guys some restaurants, a club, Pablo Escobar's house, which is turned into a restaurant, right? Things that I do. Now, when it comes to pricing in this particular area, this is gonna be closer to what it would be in the States, all right? It's not gonna be your local mom and pop where you're paying $2, $3, $5. No, that's not what this is over here. But also over here, as you can see, it's very clean. There's no people walking in the streets. There's little chance of something happening here other than possibly a car accident or something. And there are restaurants all around as well as fincas. I don't know if you were paying attention, but there on the left, there was two different restaurants there. There's another one coming up here on the right, up on the hill up there. So there are restaurants, there are bars, there are clubs all over the place here in the Las Palmas area. But it's one of those things where you got to know somebody to know where these things are. If you follow what people typically do, they usually go down on Street 10 in Provenza, or they go down on El Centro. That's the tourist thing. That's the tourist life. But as an expat's life, it's just like those of you who live in a state or a city that has a lot of tourism. How often do you go to where tourism is going on? You probably never do. You go do your own thing, right? So when people ask me questions in the comment section about, okay, well, I seen such and such do this. Well, that's what tourists do. I'm not a tourist, far from a tourist. So in this first spot right here, this is a nice restaurant here we're coming up to. Normally with this restaurant, you have to have a reservation. Depends on the time of day it is. So sometimes if you go here and you don't make a reservation, depends on what they got going on, excuse me. You may not be able to get seated, all right? But as we drive up to this, you will see to the left, there is a club there. There's a club right here. And at night, man, this whole area is filled with motorcycles and cars. Mainly cars though, because most people in this area got nice luxury cars. But that's a club right there to the left. And then they'll come over there to the right, sit out there all night smoking hookahs and who knows what else in this little area right here. So we were asking about the restaurant to make sure it was open today, and we're getting ready to drive around to it. And again, if you don't know these things are here, you know, you just coming into the city, you have no idea what these things are. But I'm going to preface it again. This is not a budget type of restaurant. This is going to be close to American prices when it comes to a restaurant, say like the Cheesecake Factory, maybe a little bit like Ruth Chris, something like that. So like, for example, a meal in here for one person, just say a basic meal, they were to get something like pasta and something, you know, you're talking between $40 to $60 at this particular spot. If you're talking about like a steak, and there's the name of the restaurant, and if you're talking like a steak, depends on filet mignon, tomahawk, sirloin, whatever kind of steak you're talking about, right? It probably starts at about $65 to $80 and then work your way up from there. So it's not overly expensive like some of the restaurants I've been to in the States, but it can be up there. Now, we couldn't get into that one because we needed a reservation, but we ended up going to this one. And this one, ladies and gentlemen, is Pablo Escobar's house. They turned his house into a restaurant. So you see this main area, and that was his parking garage. But behind there, are 4 more restaurants, because all 4 of those were all extra parts of his house that's behind it. So he had a huge house. So we had lunch there, and we left. And then the lunch over here, I would say is more like Olive Garden, you know, TGI Friday type of prices there, right? You're talking $25 to $40 a person. Mr. B, that tomahawk, you know, you're looking at, I want to say about 110, 120 a person to get a tomahawk steak, which is an excellent price for the size of it. I've seen much smaller in the States for a lot more, but I just want to give you guys a view of the area as well, to just show you, man, that you don't have to be in the areas that are shown. Those are people who really don't know where a whole lot of stuff is. I mean, you got to live here, know the locals got to trust you, and then you get to meet other people, if you choose to, of different stature, instead of always being in the lower barrios. And you get to see, hey, you don't have to live the way that you normally see it on whatever area, right? You can come over here, and this is where a lot of the elites live. You can see a lot of things over here gated, a lot of mansions, a lot of stuff that's blocked off, security. And that was one of the things in the restaurant before I get off here. In that restaurant, right, they had a TV crew in the restaurant having lunch. And there was one guy that was in there that was strapped. He had either a 45 or a 9, I don't know which one. But I say that to point out to people that when you're in areas like this, on this side of town, a lot of these people have their own security. So the chances of you getting robbed, plus the security that's at the restaurant and the police, you guys didn't see the police, but there's police that are posted up all around this area, because this is where a lot of the money is. So they're going to protect that at all costs. So for me, the last thing I worry about is being robbed in areas like this. Not saying it couldn't happen, but it's highly unlikely. But anyway, though, guys, that's it for this video. Hey, I appreciate everybody watching as always. And until the next time, guys, I'm out of here. Peace.